Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. We'll start the session with the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial is about the findings of the CSDS Lokniti pre-poll survey. It is about a particular survey, pre-poll survey conducted by Lokniti related to 2024 elections and the findings of that particular survey. This editorial is about the findings of the CSDS Lokniti pre-poll survey for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections and analyzes. One thing is the findings of the survey. The second dimension, the editorial analyzes the implications for various political parties and alliances. Based on the findings of the survey, what are the implications? What are the messages to the political parties and their alliances? This is about the editorial. Let us go to the tone of the editorial. The tone of the editorial is analytical. Obviously, it has to be analytical. And the second dimension, somewhat critical. Somewhat means that to some extent, somewhat interesting, somewhat critical, somewhat serious. But why the word critical? When you go to the editorial, at one point, the editorial criticizes the current government on the economic front. On the economic front, it uses one word, the performance has been mediocre. Based on that, in the tone, we use the word critical. Somewhat critical, not completely critical, somewhat critical. But before we go to the editorial, once you know that it is about the findings of a survey related to a pre-poll before the elections, the survey, what could be the broad framework? The survey has to get information regarding what are the parties in the fray, means contesting, and what is the pulse of the prospective voters. What are the issues being given importance to? What issues are considered very important? And how do they look at the current government? How do they look at the opposition party? And what are the different parties that are going to contest in the elections? And what is the message based on the survey, implications? This is a broad framework. Let us go to the editorial and see how it starts. In the fray, if you take the word fray separately, it has a different meaning. Fray means, take only the word fray, a usually disorderly or protracted fight, extended fight, struggle, or dispute. Imagine there is a disorderly fight, extended fight, or dispute. We use the word fray. But here we have to take all the words together. In the fray, that is an idiomatic expression. In the fray means in the contest. These parties are in the fray means these parties are going to contest in the elections. In the fray, on the CDS Lokniti pre-poll survey 2024 findings. It is all about the CSDS Lokniti pre-poll survey 2024 findings. A particular organization conducted a survey and it is about the findings of that particular survey. But what is the main idea of this editorial? Lokniti survey suggests that the Lok Sabha contest is not done and dusted. This is an important expression. Not done and dusted means not completely over. In this context, it means the competition is not over. There is going to be fierce competition, and there is going to be severe competition. That's what it conveys. And here, Lokniti survey subject sentence is in present affirmative form. Based on that, we should add s or es to the verb. Lokniti survey suggests. What does it suggest? That the Lok Sabha contest is not done and dusted. Imagine a particular party, when they conduct the survey, almost all the people, prospective voters, say in favor of a particular party. That means the contest is over. There's no contest in the real sense. But some people are in favor of a particular party, some others in favor of some other party. That means a fierce competition is going to be there. In that context, against that backdrop, we say contest is not done and dusted. Competition is going to be there. That's what it means. How does it start? In a country the size and diversity of India, voter choices can be a bundle of contradictions that require careful parsing to unpack and understand. We all know India is a vast country. India is known for diversity, and based on that, the voters' choices can be a bundle of contradictions. Here, in place of bundle, you can also use the word bunch, bunch of contradictions. Contradict means you say something, you do opposite. That means you're contradicting yourself. Here, on the one hand, they may say this is important. On the other hand, ignoring that, they may take a different decision, full of contradictions. Because the voters' choices are a bundle of contradictions, when we try to unpack that bundle or we try to understand the voter choices, we have to examine the choices very carefully. Based on that, here we have two important words. First one, I'm sure you all know, diversity means what? Good morning. Diversity means different things exist at one place, then we use the word diversity. India is known for cultural diversity. North it is different, west is different, east is different, south is different. Another word you have to focus on, parsing. This is a verb, actual verb, parse. Parse means what? To examine something very carefully. Parse. To examine or think about something carefully in order to understand it. Because the voter's choice, a bunch of contradictions or a bundle of contradictions, when we try to examine, when we try to unpack or deal with those choices, we have to examine very carefully or cautiously. Based on that, we use the word parse, parsing. When we try to understand the voter choices, and these voter choices are nothing but a bundle of contradictions, we have to examine very carefully. That it demands require careful parsing to unpack and understand. On the one hand, the CSDS Lokniti pre-poll survey 2024 findings that unemployment and price rise are the issues of most concern to prospective voters come as no surprise. Here, when they conducted the survey, the findings, they found out for the prospective voters, prospective an important word, about to become. Imagine someone is going to join a particular organization and already got the selection. We say prospective employee. Or someone is going to enroll in a particular institute, prospective student. Here, prospective voter means going to vote. On the one hand, the CSDS Lokniti People Survey 2024 findings that for these prospective voters, two things are very important. One is unemployment, the other one is a price rise. Unemployment and price rise are the issues of most concern to prospective voters. Means what? They are very important for the prospective voters. And this does not come as a surprise, comes as no surprise. It is understood, it is expected. So it is not a surprise. In a country with a large youth population and a relatively low per capita income, the lack of sufficient jobs and the persistence of high inflation should be major issues of concern. Previous sentence talks about two issues. What are the two issues? One is unemployment, the other one is a price rise. You have to become alert when you see the word rise. I've told many a time, rise, raise. Rise, rose, risen, irregular verb, intransitive verb. Raise, raised, raised. A regular verb, transitive verb. Why is it? Why are the two issues, unemployment, price rise, why are these major concerns for the prospective voters? To justify this statement, the next sentence gives a reason. What is the reason? Today, if you look at India, we have a demographic dividend. What is it? Any country that has large share of the youth has an advantage because the youth they can contribute to the development of the country towards the economy. That's what precisely we call demographic dividend. And when we have a lot of major chunk youngsters, we don't provide the employment, it becomes a problem. In a country with a large youth population, when we have a large youth population, that is an advantage, beyond any doubt, no second thoughts about that. But at the same time, we don't provide the jobs to them, it becomes a problem. With a large youth population and a relatively low per capita income relatively low, then what is required? Jobs are required, and the inflation rate should not go up. The lack of sufficient jobs, no jobs, and the persistence of high inflation. Persist means to exist for a long time. One of the meanings. Persistence, noun form, the fact of continuing in an opinion or course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. That is one meaning. Imagine you face a lot of hardships, a lot of problems. Still, you continue, you keep trying. That means a persistent. Persistence and perseverance, another important word. This talks about youth. We have a lot of youngsters, no jobs. Obviously, that is a problem, concern. Second, low per capita income. At the same time, the inflation rate has been persistently high. That is another problem. Because of these two, they have become major issues of concern. The survey also reveals, because it is about the findings, exist for a long time. Very good, Anand. I appreciate that. Because any survey, we talk about the findings. In the survey, the findings are facts. When we want to express facts, we have to use present tense. In this editorial, you come across present tense many a time, a few times present perfect, and once or twice a past perfect tense. The survey also reveals. I haven't brought the meaning because we have got this word many a time. Reveal means what? To make public. Reveal, disclose, divulge, make public, unveil. Already have written many a time. They all mean the same. Reveals that more than half the respondents felt that corruption had increased in the last 5 years. It is a bit surprising why the writer has used past perfect. Last 5 years, from the past to the present, 5 years time period. For the past 5 years, for the last 5 years, we are supposed to use present perfect tense. But surprisingly, expose also you can say. Surprisingly, the clause is in past perfect. More than half the respondents felt that corruption had increased in the last 5 years. This is a surprising element or surprising finding. Last 5 years, more than 50% felt the corruption rate had increased. That is one thing. In its 10-year term, the performance of the Narendra Modi led Bharatiya Janata Party government on the economic front has been rather mediocre. Based on this sentence, the tone of the editorial, analytical and critical. This sentence, based on this, critical. What does it say? Last two terms, BJP, now trying for the third term. In its 10-year term, the performance of the Narendra Modi led BJP government on the economic front. When you read the editorial, you have to, disclose also a good word. When you read the editorial, you have to catch important aspects for proficiency in English. One thing, you have to learn the vocabulary. Second, you have to learn important phrases, idioms, phrasal verbs, patterns. Here on the economic front, on the political front, on this front, on that front, that's an important expression you have to catch. And when you use these, obviously, in a descriptive paper, either essay writing or letter writing, you get maximum marks. On the economic front, has been, which tense is that? Present perfect, not passive voice, active voice. Many students, the moment they see been, they think passive voice. Need not be. She has been our student for 2 months. Here it is in present perfect, active voice. And it has been informed. She has been informed. Here it is in passive voice. But has been, rather. Rather, an important word, not rather, rather, means moderate to some extent. Has been what? Mediocre. But mediocre is a negative word, derogatory. Derogatory means insulting. When someone gives a performance, we say mediocre performance. means in a way you're insulting. Derogatory means insulting. Mediocre means here of moderate or low quality. We don't say moderate, low quality, not up to the mark, not up to the standards, rather substandard, value, low quality, low value, low ability, or low performance. Mediocre. Last two terms, 10-year time period. The editorial's opinion, not personal, everything is based on the editorial. The BJP's performance on the economic front has been rather, to some extent, mediocre, means not up to the mark. With why is it mediocre? Reason, with a little being done, you got to be alert. Whenever you come across a few little, you have to look at the sentence very carefully to understand the context. There are three expressions: little, a little, the little, few, a few, the few. Few or little means nothing, hardly anything, or almost nothing. Negative connotation is there. A little, a few, at least some. The few, the little, whatever is there, or something specific. Here, with little being done to lower unemployment, means what? Nothing done. Nothing done to lower unemployment. That's what it means. With little being done to lower unemployment, even as it has pursued. Pursue, try for something continuously. A typical expression: she went to the US to pursue her higher studies. Pursue your goal, pursue your dream. Being done to lower unemployment, even as it has pursued policies that have significantly benefited. We have present perfect in active voice. The elite over the masses. This word we got yesterday. What does it mean? The cream of the society. If you take any society, you have the cream, means what? The rich and the famous. We use words like the upper class, the gentry, the cream of the society, and this word elite. BJP or the party at the center pursued some policies, but those policies benefited the elite, the rich and the famous, or those who are already rich, but did not help the masses. Here, contrast between the high class and the low class, the people at the lowest rung of the society, downtrodden, underprivileged, backward communities did not pursue any policies. But though it pursued some policies, those policies benefited the rich and the famous or the elite. Even as the BJP seeks to emphasize issues such as the inauguration of the Ram Temple and Hindutva at high decibel level in its campaigning, the survey reveals that these two issues do not have a high resonance in comparison to livelihood concerns. The BJP, I would like to reiterate, rich, elite means rich. The BJP, whatever here I am doing analysis, I am just talking about the opinion or the stand taken by the editorial, nothing personal, purely based on the editorial analysis. This sentence says the BJP, any party when it goes for campaigning, tries to highlight a few issues. This sentence says the BJP has been highlighting or trying to put across two things at a very high, here high decibel level means very loudly, in a deliberate and intentional manner. What are the two issues? One is inauguration of Ram Temple. The other one, it deals with the ideology of Hindutva. In the campaign, when the party leaders go for the campaigning or canvassing, they're trying to highlight two things. One is inauguration of Ram Temple. The other one is Hindutva ideology. But the sentence says the survey reveals that these 2 points did not strike a chord with the prospective voters. Means they do not have a high resonance. Means to get connected in comparison to livelihood concerns. Prospective voters, the major issues, what is the major concern? Generally, at the time of elections, the prospective voters consider the problems they have. Concerns mean the problems they have, the worries they have. What is the major worry here? Livelihood. Livelihood means what? To survive, to meet the basic necessities, we do something. Means to survive or means to meet the basic necessities. For that, we use the term livelihood. Imagine to survive, someone does a manual job, someone is a migrant worker. We use a livelihood. In a way, you can say the profession or the activity to meet the basic necessities of life. The major concern here, livelihood. Because the major concern, livelihood, the two issues being projected at high pitch by the BJP party. What are the two issues? One is inauguration of Ram Temple, the other one is Hindutva ideology. They do not make an impact, do not have a high resonance, means they did not make an impact in comparison to livelihood concerns. But in spite of that, we use the word but, seek, sort, contrasting information. But in spite of that, the survey also shows, see, present, seeks, reveals, shows. The survey also shows that the BJP and its allies have a comfortable 12 percentage point lead. In spite of not getting connected with those two issues, which the BJP is trying to highlight, the prospective voters are not connected. In spite of that, the survey says the BJP party and its allies have 12 percentage point lead over the India bloc. What is the reason for this 12 percentage point lead? Two factors are there. One, with leadership and socio-cultural issues determining higher preference for the ruling party. Why does the ruling party have 12 percentage point lead? What are the reasons behind? One is strong leadership. The Prime Minister, very strong, charismatic, in the northern belt at least. Strong leadership. The second factor deals with socio-cultural issues. That goes with the Hindutva ideology. Based on that preference for the ruling party to the extent of giving 12 percentage point lead. The dichotomy means to get divided into two parts. If you take a plant, many plants and branches, they divide this way. Two, again two, again two, again two. This is known as dichotomy. It's a botanical term. The dichotomy in voter perceptions on key issues versus their possible choices. There are two things over here. One, the voter perceptions. What is important, what is not important, what is a primary concern, what is secondary concern. That is one thing. Versus their possible choices. They may have a concern, but the choice could be something else. There's a dichotomy between the choices and the preferences. Perceptions and choices provides comfort and concern. One is comfort. All the parties in the fray, they may feel comfortable, they may face the concern, they may have the concern what is going to happen because of the dichotomy of voter perceptions and their possible choices to both the alliances and the other parties in the fray. Whichever party is contesting, they have this problem, comfort, two problems, comfort on the one hand and concern on the other hand, based on the dichotomy. While the BJP has engaged in bluster, we have got this word for the first time. Bluster actually means to speak loudly or to shout. We don't use the word shout in this context, to say something loudly. Let us see the literal meaning. Dichotomy is something with seemingly contradictory qualities, two opposite qualities. Alliances, we have got so many times political unity, different parties join hands, coalition or alliances. And bluster means to speak in a loud, angry, or offended way with no effect. Imagine I speak very loudly or I speak rudely. Offended means a rude manner, but no impact, no effect, without any effect. Then we use the word bluster. In this context, you have to recollect two words and one idiom. What are the words? One is brag, the other one boast, and the idiom blow once own trumpet. Brag, boast, synonyms. What do they mean? Imagine I have a car. Most of the time, I talk about my car. I say this is the best model, this is the best car. This is always praising my car, my possession, anything. Then people say he always brags about his car. He always boasts about his car. Generally, we use these two words when it comes to parents. Some parents always talk about the kids. My son is this, my daughter is this. Then we say they always brag about their children. That is slightly different compared to bluster. Here, bluster means I say something, this is good, this is good, this is good, but it may not make any impact. With no impact at all, then we use the word bluster. In this context, already I have done the BJP party, one of the goals, the BJP wants to get 400 plus seats in parliament. They're trying to highlight that. This is the backdrop. Against this backdrop, the word bluster has been used. While the BJP has engaged, present perfect, in bluster. Bluster about what? Praising, very good. Dharani, I appreciate that. Who is this? Shiva Prasad, good. Engaged in bluster about what? Winning nearly 400 of the 543 seats in parliament. That is one thing. The BJP wants to win 400 plus, but the editorial says, based on the survey findings, it is not going to be easy because of the concerns. The chief concerns related to the economy suggest that the main concerns related to economy, one unemployment, the other high inflation rate, suggest related to the economy suggests that the party is not having it as easy as it did in 2019, despite the gap in vote shares as expressed in the survey. It talks about getting 400 plus, but the survey, the findings say it is not going to be easy for the BJP party, as easy as it was in 2019 elections. Why? Because of the concerns related to economy. What are the two concerns? One is unemployment, the other one is high inflation rate. In spite of all that, the gap, despite the gap in vote shares as expressed in the survey, though the BJP has 12% lead, it may not be easy for the BJP to win the elections, get 400 plus. This is what the sentence means. And based on this, at the beginning, we have seen one expression. It is not done and dusted. Competition is going to be there. As for the opposition, now what about any survey has to talk about the ruling party, has to talk about the opposition. As for the opposition, harping on. There are two words over here. First, I'll give the meanings, then we'll go to the meaning of the sentence. Harp on means to say about something in a complaining manner, repeatedly, in an annoying manner. Harp on. To repeat or especially complain about something many times in an annoying way. You always talk about something in an annoying manner, harp on something. It takes the preposition on. Second one, hustings. We have got this for the first time. And part of speech, noun. The political activities and speeches that happen before an election. Before an election, at the time of elections, usually before the elections, rallies, public meetings, speeches, all these activities, we use the term hustings. What does the sentence say? As for the opposition, harping on an alternative agenda related to the economy and livelihood concerns could provide it with something. If the opposition works on alternative agenda to deal with economic concerns and livelihood concerns, it could provide something. Could in this context used to express a possibility, the chances are less. What is that possibility? Could provide it with an opening to narrow down the gap in vote shares. What is the gap? The BJP has 12%, and they can narrow the gap, means they can reduce that gap if at all they work on an alternative agenda related to the concerns based on the economy, based on the livelihoods. That's what the sentence means. Yes, uh, hassle. While the poll survey had not focused on state level dynamics, this particular survey did not touch the state level dynamics, but recent assembly elections gave some message. What is that? While the poll survey had not focused on state level dynamics, recent assembly elections have shown a sharpening of the north south political divide. Today, if you take this particular survey, did not touch state level dynamics, though it did not touch. The recent assembly elections have shown something. What is that? If you take the BJP could make an impact in the northern belt, especially the heartland, but it could not make an impact on the southern belt. This sentence talks about that. Based on that, there is a political divide, north south political divide. Recent assembly elections have shown present perfect tense active voice a sharpening of the north south political divide, with the BJP unable to sway the south on socio-cultural issues. When it comes to socio-cultural issues, the North Indians got influenced. The BJP had the sway, but it was unable to sway the South Indians. Sway has two meanings. One meaning, when there is a strong wind, the branches of a tree move this side. Then we say sway. But in this context, the second meaning, sway means to influence, to make an impact. The BJP unable to make an impact on the South related to socio-cultural issues, unable to sway the South on socio-cultural issues as much as it is able to do so in the Hindu heartland, Hindi heartland. Heartland means main part of a particular land, a center of a particular country, and most important area of a country, and other areas. Based on that, we have the political divide, north-south divide. That close to half the respondents laid out livelihood issues as key concerns should provide an opportunity for the political messaging across the country to be a contest of ideas. Half the respondents said what the concerns are related to livelihood. That close to half the respondents laid out livelihood issues, means they have touched the livelihood issues as key concerns, important concerns. They should provide an opportunity for the political messaging across the country to be a contest of ideas. It is not a simple contest, it should be a contest of ideas. Ideas related to what? The concerns on the economic front and what are the solutions. Based on that, alternative agenda, idea, contest of ideas. About which political group offers the best deal. If the Congress offers the best deal, they have to choose that party. The BJP offers the best deal, they have to choose that particular option. In addressing these concerns, dealing with these concerns, lastly, it is alarming that nearly 58% of respondents had lost some or a great amount of trust in the election commission. The survey findings, something very surprising. 58% of the respondents had lost, again past perfect, some or to a great extent or a great amount of trust in the Election Commission of India. And continuation of the same thing, based on that, the editorial opines the institution must address concerns about voting process. Related to voting process, perhaps people lost trust in the election commission. Based on that, the election commission must address the concerns related to voting process, one thing, while asserting its independence in order to regain trust. Assert means to say something firmly. Asserting its independence, that means it should not yield to the center or a particular party. It has to firmly state or prove its independence so that it can get back the trust from the public. It ends on that particular note. Let us go to mini mocks. We start with comprehension based questions. Read carefully, try to get all the five correct. Then it shows you're a good listener and you're good at comprehension skill, which is very important when it comes to mains, especially. According to the CSDS Lokniti pre-poll survey 2024 findings, what are the primary concerns of prospective voters in India? Had you listened attentively, no need to look at the options. Easy to answer. Two things I highlighted. One is unemployment, the other one is high inflation rate, not socio-cultural. Primary concerns what? Unemployment and price rise. These are the two issues at the beginning. One is unemployment, second is price rise. Corruption, these are not relevant here. Answer is a B. Question number two, what does the editorial suggest is a key advantage of the BJP in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections? Every party has an advantage at the time of elections. The editorial, according to the editorial, what is a key advantage, major advantage the BJP party has in the upcoming elections? Strong focus on socio-cultural issues, significant decrease in corruption, leadership and socio-cultural issues, effective economic policies. Very good. The BJP has, the editorial says, the survey says, the BJP has 12% percentage lead based on what? Two factors. One is strong leadership, the other one socio-cultural factors, especially in the northern belt. Very good, I appreciate that. How does the editorial characterize the BJP's performance on the economic front? The phrases are very important. Already you have seen on the economic front. What does the editorial say about the performance since the BJP has been in power for two terms? What does the editorial say about the performance of BJP on the economic front? You have to choose a negative option because it has criticized. Remarkable, positive. Mediocre, same word has been used. Mediocre on the economic front. Mediocre with little done to lower unemployment. They did nothing to lower unemployment. Answer is B. Question number 4. What does the editorial suggest as a potential strategy for the opposition to narrow the gap in vote shares? How to narrow the 12% lead? What should be the strategy for the opposition party? Emphasizing socio-cultural issues, highlighting infrastructure development, focusing on an alternative agenda related to the economy, clearly mentioned in the passage. The opposition has to focus on an alternative agenda based on or related to the economy. That is, C is the answer. Very good. Question number 5. What is a concerning trend highlighted in the editorial regarding the Election Commission of India? Election Commission of India, the last two sentences talk about the public perception towards the Election Commission of India, and that is not positive, in fact, negative. What is that concerning trend? Because it is negative, concerning trend. Increase the transparency in the voting process, high voter turnout in recent elections, decrease in political polarization, erosion of trust in the institution. 58% lost trust in the election commission. 58%, that is above 50, 58% lost trust in the election commission. That is a surprising finding. Let us go to error location. Read the first one. Try to spot the error. Even though it is a star closest to the Earth and has been and continues to be observed by a panoply of telescopes, the Sun yet holds many secrets. 4 good, you should be happy, Shiva Prasad. In the exam also, out of 5 comprehension based questions, if you can answer 4, that is outstanding. And even here, I appreciate because this is a live session. You have listened to me. You haven't got enough time. You answered spontaneously. In spite of all that, getting 4 out of 5, highly appreciable. Try to spot the error. The first one, even though it is a star closest to the Earth, even though it is a star closest to the Earth and has been and continues to be observed by a panoply of telescopes, The sun. We have an error in the fourth part. There is one important word. What is it? Yet. Here we cannot use the word yet. We have to use the word still. You may ask, sir, what is the difference between still and yet? Still, yet a pair. Still goes with affirmative sentences and interrogative sentences. On the other hand, yet goes with negative sentences and negative interrogative sentences. Here it is in the clause is in affirmative form. Because the clause is in affirmative form, we have to use the word still. For example, we are still in the same house. Are you still reading the book? Affirmative, interrogative. The train hasn't come yet. Negative. Haven't you posted the letter yet? Negative, interrogative. An important question, you got to be careful. It is a concept derived to population biology and generally refers to the quantity of a species that can thrive sustainably in a defined ecosystem. Based on science, but if you read carefully, you can spot the error. All these questions you have to read meticulously, respecting every word. Only then you can spot the error. This should not be an issue. It is a concept derived. You don't have to go beyond the first part. The word derived takes a preposition from. It is a concept derived. To is not correct. Derived from. What is the correct preposition? From, not to. It has been derived from something. Let us go to the next one. The Environment Ministry had in May reminded all the states to undertake such a study and submit them as early as possible. This is an easy one, should not be a problem. One reading, you should be able to spot the error. Good, Monica, derived from. Once you write, type, you can remember. And Rehana also, I appreciate that. Sai also, Anand. It is always better if you write the combination, derived from. Then you can remember, it makes a lasting impact. What is the answer here? The Environment Ministry had in May reminded all the states to undertake or to undertook. We have an error in the third part. To do something, to go, to do, to buy, to write, to undergo, to undertake. Here, undertook, not correct. We have to say undertake. To undertake, not undertook. Let us go to, we have 5 idioms. Try to get all the 5 correct. Idioms, phrasal verbs, important exam topics. One shot, they give 5 questions. If you know, you get 5 marks. One shot. Yes, Rehana, to undertake. Very good. Please go to. Dharani, please don't use that V1, V2 in this session. Use the appropriate word. At loggerheads, bone of contention, sleep like a log, Achilles' heel, apple of discord. At loggerheads means in violent dispute or disagreement. Some people always argue. Someone says yes, the other one says no. Then we say they're always at loggerheads. Answer is the third one. Bone of contention. We also use apple of discord. These two they have the same meaning. Cause of dispute. And where is the other one? A weakness, a subject of contention and envy. Sleep like a log. Sleep very soundly. Easy to make out because of the word sleep. Achilles' heel means a weakness in spite of overall strength which can lead to downfall. What are you left with? 2. I'm sorry. Here, Achilles heel means a weakness in spite of overall strength. A weak point in one's personality, Achilles heel. Apple of discord, you're left with the second one. Subject of contention, bone of contention. Same thing. They both mean the same. Sleep very soundly, sleep like a log. At loggerheads, always in disagreement, arguing with each other. Bone of contention, apple of discord, same meaning, cause of dispute. And sleep like a log, to have sound sleep. Achilles heel, a weak spot in your personality. Good. If you have got all the 5, wonderful. The last slide, we have phrasal verbs. Sentence with a blank, phrasal verbs, you have to choose the correct one. Mention the number and the phrasal verb. The company sales really after they launch their new product. The verb can be in any form, present, past, future. Change the verb form. The company sales really. If one student responds, I will give the answer. Very good. Public demands. Took off. Here we have to say the company sales really took off. Take off means to start improving. Business, it goes with business, not scaled up. Took off. First one, public demands, got it right. Others have gone in for scale up. No, not scale up. The company had to several employees due to financial difficulties. Had to what? Lay off. Had to lay off means what? Terminate, remove, sack. Second one, you guys got it right. We hope to, by the end of the year, we hope to what? Business context. We hope to break even. That means we get whatever we have invested and no losses, break even. Here, we hope to break even. By the end of the year. They plan to their production to meet growing demand. Here you have to use scale up. Fourth one is scale up, not third one. No, we hope to break even. And the fourth one is what? Growing demand, they have to increase the production. For that, we say scale up. Based on that, they plan to scale up their production, increase the production to meet the growing demand. Understand the context. The company decided to, what are you left with? Branch out into international markets. Branch out, expand. Have a look at all the 5. The company sales really took off after they launched their new product. The company had to lay off several employees due to financial difficulties. We hope to break even by the end of the year. They plan to scale up their production to meet growing demand. The company decided to branch out into international markets. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? If you say yes, that's wonderful, highly appreciable. That's all for today. And after the session, we will provide the PDF. We have been doing that. You have to join the Telegram group. Once you join the Telegram group, we'll upload the PDF. You can access from there. And try to work on these questions. Have a look, spend some time. That will help in the long run. Have a nice day. And before I wind up the session, wish you all a happy Sri Rama Navami. Enjoy the festival. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much.